Zuri was on her lunch break at the hospital when she called her mother, Mama Thandi. She just wanted to check in, hear her voice, maybe feel a little warmth after a long, tiring shift. Her mother picked up, sounding distracted as always. "I'm busy, Zuri. What do you want?" she said quickly. Zuri smiled softly, trying not to take it personally. "I just wanted to say hi, Mama. That's all." Her mother sighed, muttered something. Then the line suddenly went quiet. Zuri thought the call had ended, until she heard voices. Her mother had forgotten to hang up, and then the words that changed everything came through the speaker. "She's such a burden," Mama Thandi said sharply. "Good for nothing, always calling, always needing something. That girl is just using us." Zuri froze. Her fork slipped from her hand. The phone felt heavy, like it was burning her skin. She couldn't breathe. Another voice, an aunt maybe, asked, "Why don't you tell her?" Her mother laughed bitterly. "Why? She'll just cry. She's always so dramatic." Zuri's eyes filled instantly. Her chest tightened like someone had reached inside and squeezed her heart with both hands. All this time, was that how her mother truly saw her? She stood up from the table, legs weak, tears sliding down her face before she could stop them. She didn't say anything at first. She just listened until she couldn't anymore. Finally, with a shaking voice, she whispered into the phone, even though they couldn't hear her. "Okay. I see." It was the quietest sentence of her life, and the moment her heart finally broke. Zuri's childhood wasn't really a childhood. It was work. It was responsibility. It was growing up before she ever had the chance to be young. She remembers being just 15, sitting at the small wooden table in their tiny living room, sorting through bills she didn't understand at first. Water, electricity, rent. Her mother would push the envelopes toward her and say, "Zuri, handle this. My head is tired." And because she always wanted to help, she did. She taught herself how to budget, how to call companies, how to ask for extensions even though her voice shook every time. While other girls her age were choosing outfits for school trips, Zuri was choosing which bill to pay so they wouldn't get kicked out. She remembers skipping class picnics because there was no money. She remembers the school play she wanted to join but couldn't because the costume fee was too much. She remembers wearing the same faded shoes for 3 years while pretending she didn't care. But she cared. She cared deeply. Meanwhile, her younger brother Cairo lived like he was the sun and everyone else revolved around him. He got new sneakers every school term, the best birthday parties, the newest phone, even when money was tight. If Cairo wanted something, it magically appeared. If Zuri needed anything, the answer was always the same. "We don't have money. Why can't you be less demanding? Your brother needs it more." Zuri learned to shrink herself without anyone telling her to. She learned to say, "It's okay," even when it wasn't. She learned to carry the weight so everyone else could relax. There were nights she cried quietly into her pillow, wondering why love felt one-sided in her own home, why she was treated like the adult, while the real adults acted like children, why she was expected to give everything but received so little. She told herself it was normal, every family had struggles. But deep down, she felt a small, painful truth growing inside her. She wasn't the favorite. She wasn't even seen. She was the worker, the fixer, the one who held everything together. Years later, when she became a nurse and worked long shifts to support them, she realized something heartbreaking. Her family didn't appreciate her sacrifices. They expected them. They believed they were owed. And that realization hurt more than any insult she would hear later. Zuri spent the whole week planning for her nephew's birthday. Even after long night shifts at the hospital, she made time to shop for him. She picked out a bright blue bicycle, a soccer ball, and a small cake topper because he loved superheroes. She wrapped everything neatly, hoping, maybe foolishly, that this time her family would appreciate her effort. When she arrived at her mother's house, the place was already loud with music, kids running around, aunties gossiping. Zuri walked in with her gifts, smiling, trying to bring good energy. Her nephew ran to her, eyes shining at the bicycle, and for a moment, Zuri felt warmth. At least the kids always loved her. But that moment didn't last long. As she placed the gifts on the table, she heard her mother's voice behind her. Low, sharp, the kind meant to be secret but just loud enough to hurt. Zuri should have brought more, Mama Thandi whispered to an aunt. Other people brought better things. She makes good money. Why does she act so small? The aunt clicked her tongue. That girl is always stingy. Zuri stood there frozen for a second, her smile fading slowly. The words hit her like a slap, unexpected but familiar. She pretended she didn't hear anything, forcing her lips back into a smile, even though her chest felt crushed. She walked outside to breathe, watching other guests laugh and take pictures. Everyone looked happy, but Zuri felt like she didn't belong. She had spent her hard-earned money on those gifts, money she could have used for herself, but still it wasn't enough for them. It was never enough. When they cut the cake, she clapped and cheered, acting normal. But inside she felt small, invisible. Like she was always trying to prove her worth in a family that already decided she had none. Zuri stayed only 1 hour after the cake cutting. She told her mother, "I have to get back to work," even though she didn't. Mama Thandi barely looked at her when she said goodbye. Outside, as she walked to her car, her eyes stung. She wiped her tears before they fell. She hated crying in public. She sat in the driver's seat, quiet, hands on the wheel, heart heavy. It hit her then. No matter how much she gave, they would always find a way to make her feel small. And that birthday party wasn't a celebration for her. It was a reminder. In her family, love was something she had to earn, and still never received. After years of double shifts, missed holidays, and quiet tears cried in hospital bathrooms, Zuri finally bought something for herself, a stunning $950,000 home in Mombasa. It had tall windows, a peaceful garden, and a balcony where she could watch the ocean. For the first time in her life, she felt like she had built something that was hers. She thought her family would be proud. She thought her mother might say, "Well done, my daughter." But instead, the first thing Mama Thandi said when she walked through the door was, "This house is too big for you. Why don't you give it to your brother? A boy needs space." Zuri laughed at first, thinking it was a joke, but her mother didn't smile. She walked from room to room, shaking her head like Zuri had made a foolish choice. "You don't even have a husband," she added. "Why do you need a place like this?" The words sank into Zuri's chest like stones. Still, she tried to make the best of it. She tried inviting her family over for lunch, tried hosting little gatherings, tried showing them the home she had worked so hard for. But it only got worse. Cairo, her younger brother, treated the place like it was his personal showroom. Every weekend he brought different friends over, sometimes without telling her. They would walk around touching everything, opening her cabinets, posing for pictures on her balcony like tourists. "Guys, please don't use my house like this," Zuri said one afternoon after finding them swimming in her pool without permission. "This is my home, not a playground." Cairo rolled his eyes. His friends laughed. "Relax, Zuri," one of them said. "You're too sensitive." Another added, "You should be grateful people even like this place." Zuri felt her face heat up with embarrassment and anger. Be grateful. For her own house. For the place she bought with her own sacrifices. She looked around the living room at the furniture she saved up for, the decorations she picked out, the walls she painted with her own hands. And suddenly the house didn't feel peaceful anymore. It felt invaded. Even worse, her mother sided with Cairo. "If your brother brings friends, let him," Mama Thandi said dismissively. "You're too selfish, Zuri. You always complain." Zuri swallowed the hurt. She stayed quiet like she always did. But inside something started to crack, slowly, painfully. She had bought a beautiful home. But in her family's eyes, even her biggest achievement was something she didn't deserve. The breaking point didn't come with shouting. It came quietly, through a phone speaker on a normal evening when Zuri least expected it. She had called her mother again, trying one more time to check in, to feel connected, to feel like she still had a family. Mama Thandi picked up but was in a hurry as usual. "I'm busy, Zuri, talk fast," she said. Before Zuri could respond, the call seemed to drop. At least that's what she thought. She waited, unsure if she should call back. Then she heard voices. Again, her mother had forgotten to hang up. This time the words cut deeper than a knife. "Even if she sells her house, who cares? her mother said, her voice sharp and full of annoyance. She owes us. After everything we've done for her, she still acts like she's better. An aunt replied, that girl thinks she's special because she bought one house. Let her sell it, maybe then she'll finally give the money to her brother. Her mother laughed, cold, dismissive laugh. She should thank us for raising her. She wouldn't even be a nurse without us. Zuri felt her world tilt. Her throat tightened, her eyes blurred. Everything she had done, every night shift, every bill she paid for them, every sacrifice, every tear, they saw it as a debt she owed. Not love, not help, not support. Her achievements meant nothing. Her home meant nothing. She meant nothing. She sat on the edge of her bed, holding her phone like it was the last fragile piece of a life she no longer recognized. The voice on the other side kept talking, each word stabbing her again and again. She should give that house to Cairo. Why does she need it? She owes us. She thinks she's too important. Zuri closed her eyes, and for the first time in her life, she didn't feel the urge to defend herself. She didn't feel the need to prove her kindness. She didn't feel guilty. She felt tired, deeply, bone-crushingly tired. She finally understood. Nothing she did would ever be enough for them, not even giving them her whole life. She ended the call quietly. No tears this time, just a long, steady breath. Then she whispered to herself, stronger than she had ever sounded. No more. It was the moment she stopped being their lifeline and started becoming her own. Zuri didn't make an announcement. She didn't scream, argue, or confront anyone. She had done that before, and it never changed a thing. This time she moved in silence. The morning after hearing her mother's hurtful words, Zuri woke up with a strange calm in her chest, like her heart had finally made a decision her mind had been too scared to voice. She picked up her phone, searched for a local realtor in Mombasa, and sent a simple message. Hi. I'm ready to sell my house. No hesitation. No second thoughts. The realtor responded within minutes, excited to work with her. They scheduled a meeting for the next day. Zuri walked through her home that evening, touching the walls, the shelves, the curtains she had handpicked. She felt a small ache, but it wasn't regret, it was release. Then she started packing. She began with her journals, thick, worn notebooks filled with years of quiet pain, dreams she never said out loud, and letters she wrote to herself when no one else cared. She tied them together gently, like they were pieces of her heart. Next, she packed her books, her clothes, the mug she loved, the soft blanket she bought to comfort herself after exhausting shifts. She left the photos for last. Family pictures, memories she once believed were warm. She held each one, staring at the smiles that now felt like lies. Some she kept, some she let go. Every night after work she packed more. Every morning she stayed silent. She didn't tell her mother. She didn't tell Cairo. She didn't tell anyone. This was her escape, and she protected it like her life depended on it because, in a way, it did. When the realtor listed the house, Zuri expected it to take weeks, maybe months. But on day 11 she received the call. We have a buyer, the realtor said. A full cash offer. $950,000. Zuri sat down slowly. Her hands trembled, not with fear but with disbelief. This house, which had brought her so much pain and judgment, was now her way out. Her freedom. She signed the documents quietly, without celebration. No champagne. No family dinner. No one to say, congratulations. She didn't need any of that anymore. As she sealed the final boxes, she whispered to herself, You're almost free, Zuri. For the first time in her life, those words felt real. The house was almost echoing now, empty and quiet, the kind of quiet Zuri had begged for her whole life, but never truly felt until this moment. She walked from room to room one last time, her footsteps soft on the clean floors. Everything she ever bought, everything she worked for, was packed into 2 suitcases and a small backpack. Her whole life, reduced to what could fit in her car. On the kitchen counter she placed a single envelope. No anger. No begging. No explanations she knew they wouldn't understand. Inside she wrote only a few words. I hope you all find what you're looking for. I'm choosing peace. Zuri. She didn't sign it with love, because for the first time she wasn't pretending. She closed the door gently behind her. Not a slam. Not a dramatic exit. Just a quiet ending to years of pain she had carried in silence. The drive to the airport felt surreal. The morning sun was rising over Mombasa, painting the sky in soft oranges and pinks. Zuri rolled the window down, letting the warm breeze hit her face. She felt something she hadn't felt in a long time. Lightness. Freedom creeping in slowly, like dawn breaking after a long night. At the airport she didn't hesitate. She bought a one-way ticket to Ghana, a place she had always dreamed of visiting, a place she chose for herself. No family nearby, no expectations, no weight on her shoulders. Just her. The flight was long, but Zuri spent most of it staring out the window, watching the clouds drift like soft pillows. For the first time in years, her mind wasn't racing. Her chest wasn't tight. The voice of guilt wasn't whispering in her ear. When she landed in Accra, the air smelled like salt and palm trees. She took a taxi to a small studio apartment she had seen online, a simple place near the ocean, with white walls and a tiny balcony facing the water. It wasn't fancy, but it was hers. Truly hers. That night, when she lay on the small bed, listening to the sound of waves outside, something inside her finally relaxed. Her shoulders dropped, her breath steadied, her heart felt safe. She didn't worry about a phone call asking for money. She didn't fear another insult. She didn't prepare herself to be used again. She closed her eyes and slept deeply, maybe for the first time since she was a child. In that little studio by the ocean, Zuri finally tasted what peace felt like. And she knew one thing for sure. She would never go back to the life she left behind. The panic started the same day they realized the house was empty. At first, Mama Thandi thought Zuri had gone to work early. Then she noticed the closets were cleared out, the drawers were empty, and the kitchen counter had nothing but a single envelope. She opened it, read Zuri's short message and froze. Within an hour, Zuri's phone lit up again and again. Calls, messages, voice notes. Zuri, where are you? You didn't tell anyone you were leaving. Call me back immediately. Then came the real reason behind the panic. Zuri, who will pay Cairo's school fees? You know they're due next week. We need you to send money. Why are you acting like this? Don't be selfish. The calls became more desperate, more angry, more accusing. Zuri sat on her little balcony in Ghana, looking at the ocean as her phone buzzed non-stop beside her. She didn't pick it up. Not once. She watched the waves instead, letting their rhythm drown out every guilt-filled ring. The messages kept coming. You abandoned your family. You think you can live alone. You'll come crawling back. You owe us. Then the voice notes from her aunties started. A grown woman running away like that. Shameful. After everything your mother did for you. She's forgotten her roots. They talked like she hadn't fed them for years. Like she hadn't paid rent, bills, medications, school fees. Like she hadn't worked overtime to keep the lights on in a house that was never truly hers. Not one of them said, Zuri did so much for us. Maybe we hurt her. Maybe she's tired. None of that. They only talked about what they lost. Not what she lost while carrying everyone on her back. Meanwhile in Cape Verde, the gossip spread fast. Relatives whispered at church. Aunties shook their heads dramatically. Cousins pretended to pity her mother. She ran away without a word. Ungrateful child. How can she do that to her family? Yet nobody asked the most important question. Why did she feel the need to leave in silence? Back in Ghana, Zuri turned her phone off. She placed it in a drawer and stood by her window, letting the salty breeze wash over her. For once, she didn't feel guilty. For once, she wasn't rushing to fix a problem she didn't create. For once, she chose herself. And the truth hit her gently, like a soft wave touching the shore. They weren't panicking because they missed her. They were panicking because they lost their provider. But Zuri wasn't their mule anymore. She wasn't their safety net. She wasn't their backup plan. She was finally free. Even if her family didn't know how to handle it. Cairo was the first one to reach the house. He came with two of his friends, planning to hang out like they always did. He unlocked the door with his spare key, stepped inside, and stopped instantly. The living room was empty. No couch. No pictures. No soft blankets. No smell of Zuri's lavender candles. Just walls. "Yo, what happened?" one friend asked, confused. Cairo walked deeper into the house, his voice rising. "Zuri! Zuri, where are you?" His footsteps echoed. The house felt cold, like it no longer belonged to anyone. He opened every room, checked every corner, even looked in the backyard. Nothing. Her room. Me. Her closet. Me. Her bathroom. Me. When he realized she was truly gone, he pulled out his phone and called his mother. "Mama, the house is empty." On the other side, Mama Thandi gasped so loudly he pulled the phone away from his ear. "What do you mean empty? What nonsense are you talking about? She moved. Everything is gone." She didn't believe him. She rushed over, stormed through the front door, and froze in the same spot where Zuri once stood with so much hope. The echo in the empty house felt like an insult to her. The envelope on the counter felt like betrayal. Then she saw the realtor documents left on the counter. The house had been sold. Sold! Mama Thandi screamed. Her voice cracked. She sold the house. Her legs almost gave out. Her eyes widened with shock and anger and disbelief. "That girl sold it without telling me," she cried. "How can she do this? After everything?" The panic exploded again. They called her phone over and over. Missed call. Missed call. Missed call. They filled her inbox with messages. "Zuri, how dare you do this? You need to explain yourself. Call your mother right now. Is this how you repay your family? You owe us. You owe your brother." Zuri didn't reply. Hours passed. The voicemail box filled. Family group chats erupted. Aunties started sending voice notes filled with dramatic sighs and fake tears. Mama Thandi finally texted, "Zuri, please reply. Please. You're breaking my heart." Sitting in her small studio in Ghana, Zuri read every message silently. Her hands didn't shake. Her heart did not race. She felt steady, like she was finally standing on her own feet. After a long moment, she typed one single message. "You said I was a burden, so I went where I am not one." Then she pressed send. Back in Cape Verde, Mama Thandi read the message and collapsed into a chair, covering her face with both hands. Her cries filled the empty house, echoing off the bare walls Zuri once decorated with love. She wasn't crying because she missed Zuri. She was crying because she realized she had pushed away the one person who held their whole world together. And now that person was gone. Zuri's new life didn't begin with fireworks or a huge celebration. It began quietly, just like the way she left. In Ghana, she spent her mornings walking along the shore, letting the waves wash away years of exhaustion she didn't even realize she was carrying. For the first time, she woke up without someone needing her, without a crisis waiting, without guilt tied to her name. One afternoon, while helping an elderly woman outside her apartment building, Zuri had an idea. She remembered how many people back home relied on her for care, yet never valued her. Here she wanted something different, something healthy, something hers. Within months, she started a small wellness clinic with a group of local women, midwives, herbalists, retired nurses. They worked together, offering simple health services, counseling and community support. Women from the area loved it. They trusted her. They appreciated her. They said her name with respect, not entitlement. For the first time in her life, Zuri wasn't the helper. She was a leader, healer, a woman rebuilding herself from the inside out. One night, she sat on her balcony, listening to the ocean, and typed out a short post on an anonymous forum. She didn't expect anything. She just needed to release the truth sitting inside her chest. Sometimes walking away isn't cruel, it's necessary. By morning, the post had thousands of likes and shares. People wrote, "You're so brave. I feel this in my bones. This is the freedom I want." Her story spread across Africa without anyone knowing it was hers. And for once, the attention didn't scare her. It comforted her. Somewhere out there, people understood her pain. Back home, her family heard about the viral post too, but they still didn't know Zuri was the one who wrote it. Days later, her phone buzzed with a message from her mother. Zuri, please come home. We didn't mean it. Families fight. You shouldn't have left. Zuri read it slowly, feeling no anger, just clarity. She typed back, I'm not coming back to where love felt like duty. She didn't explain further. She didn't apologize. She didn't break. She set her phone down, looked out at the calm blue water, and breathed deeply. For the first time ever, Zuri wasn't carrying anyone. She was finally carrying herself. And she was enough.